If you're new to skate park sports, no matter which sport it is, here's some things you need to know when it comes to skate park etiquette. Starting off with when you arrive to a skate park. When you go to set your stuff down, make sure that you don't set your stuff against a feature or anywhere that's going to be obstructive of other riders. Consider putting your stuff near a designated seating area or in the grass bed out of the way. Once you're ready to start the sesh, if you notice that there's already a couple people in the area that you want to ride, go up, introduce yourself, and figure out where you're going to be in that lineup. Being aware of the lineup in a particular area at all times is one of the most important aspects of park etiquette because the lineup can change constantly throughout the day. So you want to make sure that you're not snaking anyone, which means cutting in line, which can lead to situations of conflict and injurious collisions. Once you establish where you're going to be in the first lineup, start to be aware of where the traffic is flowing throughout the park. Most parks, even small parks, are going to have multiple points of traffic flow. Before getting too far into your sesh, take the time to understand the traffic flows of a particular park, especially if this is a new park that you've never been to before. There's a subtle art to being able to predict where somebody may be, where traffic buildup may happen, relative to where you want to be at a particular time and place. So if you're a newer rider, it's best to err on the side of extreme caution and patience before taking a turn. Try to understand all the different angles where a collision could happen to ensure you aren't the cause of one. Another important practice to get into is calling your turn, or signifying to other park riders that it's okay for them to take a turn if you're caught in the situation where you're both unsure of whose turn it is. This is very intuitive when there's a back and forth style traffic flow in a park. In these types of situations, you can get a lot of traffic that builds up on either side, so it's really important that you stay aware of the collective lineup as opposed to what the lineup may be on your particular side. Looking before you go is especially important when you have a blind spot. In this example, I don't look over my left shoulder before dropping in, and as I come around to hit this street Euro section, I run right into Kyle. So in this example, I just entered the mini ramp section from the street Euro section, and I want to do a lap in that area before coming back around to the street Euro side. Kyle decides to go, assuming that I'm not going to be coming back around on this side, and we ultimately collide. Given I'm still in the middle of the run, ultimately I would have the right of way, but I could have also communicated to Kyle that I would be coming back around. In this situation, Kyle has a blind spot directly behind him, so before he goes, he should take the time to look behind him and make sure that nobody's dropping in. Accidents happen, but if you create the collision, make sure to take responsibility and apologize respectfully. In this scenario, Kyle and I go at the same time, which causes a collision. Given I had a bird's eye view and could see Kyle, it would have been good to give him a heads up before going, whereas Kyle had a blind spot in his left side, so he should have looked to his left before going. In the case where you want to go multiple people at a time, make sure that you're not impeding on the traffic flow and you're not snaking other people who have been waiting to take a turn. In general, it's best to just avoid this in high traffic areas. In this situation, I bail doing a trick up this bank. Before I'm able to pick up my board and clear the path, Kyle decides to go. In doing so, he almost creates a collision because there's such a limited amount of space to maneuver here. Unless the situation lends itself to an aggressive flow, it's always best to wait until the path is clear before going. In this scenario, Kyle decides to go before I finish my run. The issue with this is that it's distracting, so it could lead to a fall or a collision. However, given that there's such a limited amount of rideable space in this particular area, if Kyle and I were to communicate on the front end that we'll both be going at the same time, then it's fair game. If you're at a park or within an area of a park that has a limited amount of skatable space, but that also has a two-way traffic flow pattern that theoretically could lend itself to infinite laps, if there's other people at the park, make sure you reset after each lap to ensure you're not snaking others in the lineup. For this last scenario, whether you're a rider, a parent of a rider, or somebody passing through the park, please don't sit on skatable features unless there's nobody else around, because ultimately it's taking up a finite amount of skatable space for everybody else. If you ask somebody to move, please do so respectfully, and if you're asked to move, please move respectfully. A tuned skate park etiquette goes a long way to ensure that you're staying safe and always having a great experience no matter what skate park you're at.